When I am president, it will be a day one priority to fight to bring down prices.
The Harris campaign is caught between a rock and a hard place. Continue with the record that Biden has of terrible economic policies that have led to inflation, or they can flip-flop.
The American economy is the envy of the entire world. And that's because of the policies of the Biden-Harris administration. And those are the policies that Kamala Harris will continue and build upon.
All right, time to bring in our panel. We have Byron York, chief political correspondent of the Washington Examiner, Real Clear Politics White House correspondent Philip Wegman, and Democratic campaign consultant Kevin Walling. Gentlemen, great to see all of you. Let's go down the pike. Byron, so Harris says on day one she's going to fight to bring down prices, but built into that, I think, is an admission that prices remain too high under the Biden-Harris administration, that all their policies have not been enough to get them to where they need to be.
She does say prices have been too high, and she blames greedy corporations for it. She says she's going to go after greedy corporations, and that's her policy. The problem with her right now is, one, the campaign seems to be in kind of an introductory phase. She goes out, she has a rally with Tim Walz, and kind of it's conducted on a very, very general level. So she has done a little running away from her positions from 2019 and 2020, but she hasn't really laid out what her policies are now. So we just don't know, and she's not letting anybody ask her.
Kevin, there are maybe some issues where she hasn't been as involved, or they're not as high profile, where she could stake out a position that is different or contrary to President Biden's, try and make the case anything on record is his fault and not hers. But the economy is not one of those issues. I mean, voters see the ticket, they see the administration, and they see their wallets. Doesn't really take a lot more than that.
Yeah, Gillian, and we know the economy is obviously going to be one of the most critical issues, if not the critical issue, come November. One interesting thing that I saw out of the campaign just today is kind of even flipping the script on the border crisis and the immigration question. She's out with a new ad touting her time as a prosecutor and as the California AG, kind of flipping the script on somewhat of a vulnerability for the Biden-Harris administration. You're going to see the same thing, I think, play out in Arizona tonight. She's got a crowd now of 20,000 people. I'm seeing some of the imagery coming out of that arena. That's a huge state, must-win state for President Trump. President Biden won it by just 11,000 votes. So, and you're going to see her tackle issues like the economy and certainly immigration, I think, in a speech tonight. But we're going to look forward to that long-form interview. She said that she's going to do that by the end of the month, where she'll answer all these questions, certainly.
So, Phil, to Byron's point a moment ago about the key issues for voters and Harris's policy platform, the Wall Street Journal today, the Wall Street Journal board, calls Kamala Harris mystery commander-in-chief. They say she is all but telling Americans they'll have to elect her to find out what she really believes, as the vice president ducks interviews and the media give her a free ride. Americans should not have to read tea leaves to figure out if Ms. Harris would keep the country safe in a treacherous world.
Well, I have been very impressed with the Harris-Walz campaign, because when they're operating anonymously, they're like the world's best NASCAR pit crew. They talk to reporters on background, and they unbolt from Vice President Harris some of these policy positions that she took when she was running for president herself in 2020. So the call to decriminalize border crossings, or the ban on fracking, or the calls for gun buybacks, those are all gone in a matter of moments. And thus far, while we're waiting on that interview 3 weeks from now, or some major policy proposal, we don't know. The press on this one, we're getting run over.
Byron, I interviewed State Department spokesperson. I can't talk at the end of the show because I've been talking so much all hour. A few moments ago, he talked to me. I asked him whether the administration shares any of these concerns about what Vice President Harris has said publicly about Israel. As you know, Bibi Netanyahu was critical of some of the comments she's made. There's concerns they could complicate the prospects for a ceasefire deal. I was surprised because he pushed back very forcefully. Take a listen to part of what he said.
Vice President has been a key backer of Israel's security and has made clear that she is committed to Israel's security and committed to Israel's defense. And at the same time, she has made clear, as the President has, as the Secretary Blinken has, that of course we are concerned about the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza, and that's why we're trying to reach a ceasefire and ultimately bring this war to a close.
There's another area where we're a little bit in the dark about Kamala Harris. We know she's been a little more blunt about Netanyahu than the president has. We know she's been more willing to listen to anti-Israel groups than the president has.
Maybe more blunt in her criticism of the IDF in Gaza.
Exactly.
Too, yeah.
And so we know a little bit about that, but we haven't heard anything from her. Now, this idea that there's going to be this big interview with somebody, TBA, within the next 3 weeks, and she's going to lay all this out. In a campaign, a candidate normally interacts with the press a lot. Sometimes they even hold news conferences and let lots of reporters ask them questions like Trump did yesterday for an hour. So none of these questions are going to be fully answered in just one interview with a probably friendly interviewer.
Kevin, real quick, I mean, I guess there's also the platform of the debate or the couple of debates that will go down. Are they sort of pinning their hopes on that, the team?
Well, certainly I think the Harris campaign is eager for that contrast on September 10th, hosted by ABC. I think she's very eager to share that stage with him. And as she has said before, she knows Donald Trump's type from her time as California AG. So certainly she's looking to prosecute the case, I think, on that debate stage.
Phil, last 10 seconds go to you.
I think that the liability for Vice President Harris is that the foreign policy-minded progressive left, they see her as very similar as Biden on this issue and marginally better than Donald Trump. She needs to make a distinction in a hurry.
It is time, gentlemen, for your favorite segment of the week, which is winners and losers. Byron, let's start off with you. Who are they?
The winner, Scottie Scheffler. He's the golfer who wins everything. Well, now he's got an Olympic gold medal. And the loser is Burning Man, this weird festival they have out west. Last year it was a total disaster. Now they can't sell tickets for it, amazingly enough.
Everybody got stuck there last year.
They
I'd
did,
forgotten
and I
about
don't want to
that.
go back.
Kevin?
My winner is Quincy Hall, Team USA. Big come from behind in the 400 meter on Wednesday, and the pride of the University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. My loser is Robert Kennedy Jr. for faking a bear death in Central Park with a bicycle.
It was a head scratcher.
It's kind of bizarre.
I'll give you that. It was bizarre. Phil?
My winner is Elon Musk this week for using an antitrust lawsuit to get the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, that organization, to stop chasing advertisers off of Twitter. And my loser, again, I'm showing my bias. I'm biased towards more transparency, is the press. We haven't gotten that press conference, let alone an interview from the Democratic nominee for president.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for taking time with us. Great to talk to you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Have a good weekend.